What if tomorrow, collecting simply vanished? No warning, no auctions, no hobby shops, no trading, no memorabilia, just gone. Would we even notice at first, or would the world start breaking in ways we never expected? Most people don't realize how deeply collecting is woven into our world. It influences how we value history, how we preserve culture, how we assign rarity, how we measure passion, how we build communities. Collecting drives museums, auction houses, memorabilia markets, grading companies, hobby conventions, preservation technology, entire secondary economies. It may look like just a hobby on the surface, but beneath it lies a global ecosystem worth hundreds of billions of dollars, holding nostalgia, identity, and historical memory together. On day one, confusion. Auction sites go silent, grading companies shut down, collector forums freeze, marketplaces show error pages, vintage shops don't open, toy fairs are canceled, comic conventions disappear. By the end of the first week, people start asking, how do we preserve cultural artifacts now? What happens to rare historical items? What replaces the passion economy? And millions of collectors feel something deeper. Loss, not financial loss, emotional loss. Weeks later, ripple effects spread, museums lose acquisition pipelines, antique dealers collapse, memorabilia industries shrink, authentication experts lose relevance, preservation labs lose funding, costs increase. Historical artifacts deteriorate without private stewardship. Trust erodes in secondary markets, industries shift, luxury brands lose resale ecosystems. Sports leagues lose memorabilia markets, film studios lose collector-driven revenue streams. And suddenly, what seemed optional becomes critical. Because collecting isn't about stuff, it's about value creation through meaning. Years from now, without collecting, entire eras fade faster. Rare artifacts are discarded instead of preserved. Historical memory weakens. Fewer objects survive for future generations. New systems attempt to replicate collecting digitally. But something fundamental changes. Ownership loses emotional depth. Scarcity becomes harder to define. Community fragments, and society no longer celebrates the preservation of physical history the same way. We stop curating the past. We start consuming it temporarily. Here's the surprising truth. Collecting isn't about accumulation, it's about guardianship. Collectors are unpaid archivists. They protect culture before institutions even recognize its value. The baseball card that becomes a museum piece, the comic book that becomes cinematic history, the toy that becomes a generational artifact, the watch that defines craftsmanship, the vinyl that preserves sound. The most powerful forces in our world are often the least visible. Not the flashy headlines, not the billion-dollar corporations, but the quiet foundations working in the background. And collecting might be one of them. So if collecting disappeared tomorrow, would we be prepared? Or would we finally realize how essential it really was? If you want to understand the systems that preserve culture, history, and passion before they vanish, subscribe to Collectiblepedia, because the invisible forces matter most. And sometimes, the people saving history are the collectors themselves.